Well, good morning, everybody. I am getting ready to start my 5-mile run here and walk, run. I waddle, I run, I walk, I sprint. I do it all. But it's always 5 miles every day. We are having this absolutely another gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. A little bit later this morning, I think it's about 10 o'clock or so, and it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And, you know, I'm sharing wisdom on the run. We'll call it wisdom on the run. How about that? The way I do it is I cut through my backyard here. This is on my back property. And then they used to be all completely woods behind there, and then they built like this really high-end housing golf coursing type of developments, and now the deer that used to run through our yard no longer run through our yard. I don't know where they went, but I miss them. I miss them so much. But anyhow, I've run through my property, past the other properties, and then past all the golf courses, and at the very end of the trail, like 2.5 miles in, there's a Dairy Queen, but I don't stop. It's sort of my turnaround area, and then I come all the way back, so it makes 5 miles. So here we go, here we go, here we go. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day. And so I'm going to share wisdom on the run and my thoughts today. I've been doing that with y'all. I really have been sharing with you, you know, what's going on in my life, my ideas and my thoughts. So I hope you enjoy the journey. Okay, so here's that dog that barks at me every day as I cross through. Oh my gosh. So I'm not going to get the dog on camera, but I am going to go past it with my camera here. As you all can see, why? But fortunately, it's fenced in. Yep. So that's the same dog that somebody was walking the one day and they couldn't control it, and I did a whole video about that. But anyhow, it's all fenced in there. I make sure of it before I go past here, but this is on a totally different property. But this is still, this area where I cross through is actually a public, you know, where people, it's part of a trail, so it's not on someone else's property or anything like that. Kind of goes between our properties and their properties. So it is just a beautiful day here, a gorgeous day. And I wanted to talk to you about rocking and rolling through life. You know, this morning I woke up and I got to thinking about rocking and rolling. You know, circumstances happen in life, and I've been talking a lot about that. So if you haven't caught my other videos of the last few days, please watch them. You're going to know what I'm talking about. And so when you're facing circumstances in life, you can either be a train wreck, and I can tell you for a couple days there, maybe even more, I felt like a train wreck. And you know, or you can get back on the train tracks and rock and roll, and that's what I hope and pray I always do. Wow, this is so beautiful. Just gorgeous today, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going slower. You know, when I hold the camera, I go slower, and then when I put the camera in my pocket, I then speed up. So if you see me going slower, that's why. But I'm out here 5 miles every single beautiful day. Actually, I come out on the rain, the snow. I'm running a little bit here to get across the streets. Okay, good. And hey, look at that tree. How beautiful. How beautiful. So, talking about, for a couple days, I have to be honest, you know, the last couple months I had a few different things happen. I've always been healthy as a horse, except for that blip in the screen. That, you know, that year that I told you about 10 years ago, I titled that video called Brain Aneurysm, and that was all about a wooden hanger running into a wooden hanger that was wedged in a door. So that was just an anomaly. but I've always been healthy as a horse. I'm gonna cross the street here in a minute. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna cross this. Now this is kind of really starts what I call the trail on this side, and then I switch to the other side by the crosswalk. But and so, okay, so what we're talking about now is we're talking about we're just talking about what I've gone through. So I went through, I pulled the back muscle. I was having problems breathing out of one side of my nose or the other. We determined it was inflammation of some sort. I've never had inflammation because I eat healthy. I don't smoke. I have very healthy habits. As you all know, I'm out here each and every single day on the trail. So I felt like what was going on with me? I'd never had issues before. So I never had issues. And then it was like in the last 4 months. But all those issues, except for maybe occasionally I get a leg cramp, have pretty much cleared up. And so even though they pretty much cleared up, then I got the thing, y'all know, under my breast. And so now I'm going through all these testings and all that. And to see a surgeon. And I've done enough videos. I'm not going to go into detail. I did a big one yesterday out on my run. So go watch it if you will. So when I started going through some of this stuff a couple of months ago, they were little things, but they all added up. I attributed it to old age. Well, I'm not old. I'm 64, but I'm a very young, healthy, active, can run circles around everybody, 64-year-old, okay? And so it just didn't make any sense to me at all. It didn't make any kind of sense. And so basically, I just decided, well, when this happened with the breast, I went to the doctors, and of course I was on antibiotics and all of that. And so we're going through all the testings, and I see the surgeon to see if anything is needed, which we pray not. And I'm believing in God. I have faith, and I'm saying, God, this is in your hands. I'll do the best decisions as you guide me, but this is in your hands. And I pray for full healing, and to be perfectly healthy way past 100, okay? And then way past 100, I go to bed and go to sleep and don't wake up and go to heaven that way. But not till way past 100, I hope. Because I have a lot of work here to do on earth, or here in this lifetime. And I love being me. It's fun. It's fun being me, and it should be fun being you. Okay, make yourself fun. Enjoy your life. And, okay. So this is the way it is. So at first I felt like a train wreck. I did. I felt just like a total train wreck. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to feel like a train wreck anymore. Regardless of whatever this is, regardless of what I have to go through or don't have to go through, and I'm praying I don't have to go through anything, I'm going to rock and roll. Now some days it may be harder in life to rock and roll than other days. And there's some days that we just simply cannot rock and roll. I respect that and understand that there's some things that happen in life that you just can't rock and roll. Okay? And I understand that. So don't feel like you have to rock and roll when you don't feel like it. Don't put that demand on yourself. But if you feel like you can rock and roll, then by all means rock and roll. And like I said, I don't give advice, suggestions, information. I just share with you my perspective on different topics. And so on the days that I feel like rocking and rolling, I want to rock and roll through life. My grandma used to say, people got all kinds of sicknesses and illnesses, and she said they just ignored them. A lot of them, not all of them, and most certainly you should not ignore something that you need to address. So I'm not implying that at all. But what she meant was they did the best they could, but they didn't let that stop their life, is what she meant. And they went on to live their happy life. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of things, not just health issues, but all kinds of issues. You can let it completely stop you in your tracks, or you can find happiness. Many years ago, I was dating a guy who looked like Don Johnson, and I was in my 20s, and he was extremely successful. But he got himself into a big financial mess. And if I told you what he was like built or created, you would all recognize it and know it. So I'm not going to say what he did or what he didn't do. But he was, kind of a big developer. And I said to him, I said, how can you be, we went to dinner, we were going to dinner at an exclusive restaurant in Palm Springs. And I said to him, how can you go through all this and be happy? He said, why not? He said, there's always going to be problems, always problems. Okay, I'm at this famous crosswalk again. They call it the famous crosswalk that only 1 out of every 10 people stop. So let's see if anybody stops here. Okay, we're going to see. No. See, they don't stop. They don't. Nope, nobody stops. Okay, now there's nobody here, so I'll go ahead and cross. But you see, when you go through a crosswalk, this crosswalk especially, look on both sides. Don't just look one side. Oh, here comes one of those trucks again. Same truck as yesterday. Okay, so I do want to say one thing here. If I have lipstick all over my face or I'm a mess, this is what I look like when I go out running. I'm not trying to be beautiful and glamorous for you right now, okay? Okay, so, but anyhow, yeah, so this is the thing. He said, life is always going to have problems. You can let them stop you, or you can let them push you forward and continue to be happy. And that's what he did, that guy that I dated. And so, I learned a lot from him from that perspective. You deal with your problems effectively. You make great decisions. You don't be stupid and just say, oh, well, I'm not going to do nothing about them. No, I address my problems. I'm smart like that, okay? But at the same time, I am not going to worry about them. Just like my 91-year-old lady friend said, you put them in the box, give it to God, and don't take it out of the box again, other than to do your very best. And I love that. I love that. I love that. I love what she said. Okay, I love what she said. I'll tell you about this troll again. I talk a little bit about this, and I've been putting up a lot of videos, more sensitive videos about what I'm going through and stuff like that. And this troll that I have, and I'm pretty sure I know who it is, they give me an immediate thumbs down. I don't even think they watch the video or know what the video is. They just give me a thumbs down. But if they do watch the video and some of the titles were very descriptive, you would think, what kind of person would give a thumbs down to somebody who's making great content? And I can tell you right now, I did a video yesterday called There Are Unhappy People in the World. I said 99% of the people are wonderful. Of course, I'm making up that number, and 1% are probably not nice. And we got to be aware of the not nice people. And this, like I said, I think I pretty much know who this person is. And that's okay. I wish them all good. I've only been nice to them, and I believe it's based on jealousy, but I can't imagine that somebody would go around giving videos of a sensitive content thumbs down, and it's immediate. They do this on every video, every single video, and you think, God bless that person, because they've got to be unhappy with who they are. They've got to not like who they are, because people who like who they are don't do that. They don't do that. They don't do that kind of stuff. They don't. People who like themselves, even if they don't like somebody, they just move on their way. But unhappy people stick because they want to make happy people unhappy, or people going through struggles even more unhappy. And they're not doing nothing like that. For me, I just ignore it. They're giving me watch time. They're giving me watch time. I don't know if they're smart enough to know that they're giving me watch time, you know, and why are they so obsessed with me? I've only been nice to everybody in person and virtually. I'm a nice person. I'm genuine, and if someone's not nice, then you know what I do? I just walk away. That's it. That's it. That's what I do. I don't say anything. I just walk away. So, I don't know. I mean, you know, if someone's being really rude, I may address it at the moment, but I'll address it politely and kindly and thoughtfully, and then I get away. And I think when people realize you don't want a relationship with them, that's their way of acting like a 5-year-old, I guess, and getting pleasure and satisfaction. But I pray for them and I wish them all blessings. And so, yeah, I actually like doing it like this, coming out here, because see, I have about 45 minutes to an hour out here. And even though I don't run as fast when I'm doing the video, I love being out here. You know, wisdom on the run, wisdom on the run. And I love it. I love it. And I'm out here every single day. Unless it's really, really ugly, then I'm not. But then I dance at home. You know, I dance to rock and roll music, and I used to do dancing videos. And then they gave me copyright strikes. So, because I like to dance to like 70s and 80s, and I know you can buy certain music that's copyright free, but it's not music I like to dance to. And so, but I dance. I dance for maybe 30, 40 minutes, sometimes longer at home. You know, I do all my college work. I had a lot of it yesterday, and I have some of it today when I get back. And then I have my online classes. You know, the way it works with my online classes is that with my online classes, okay, the way it works is I'm supposed to go in person. But because of all that's going on, and my age of 64 years old, my age of 64, I'm using that to my advantage. They let me do it all by webcam, and it's actually wonderful doing it by webcam because my college is an hour and a half. For me, it takes me an hour and a half. A lot of back roads. I was coming back at night. The deer were running across the road, if y'all remember those videos. And I got lost. My GPS got me lost and almost took me over like a cliff type of thing. And when I say a cliff, it was a brand new highway it put me on that wasn't open yet. I mean, it was crazy. So it was kind of my cue that, hey, let me see if they'll let me do online. And they did. They let me do online classes. And I have to tell you, I am so excited. Over here's the golf course. Can you see it? Can you see the golf course over there? Yeah, that's the golf course. That's the golf course, the beautiful golf courses. And I run by a lot of them. Now, some days I waddle. Some days I walk. Some days I sprint. Some days I know so many people. People know me here. They said that when I die, they're going to do a big obituary on me as the lady who runs. One man stopped me and he said, "You've been out here for decades every day." And I said, well, maybe not decades here, but I've been out here every day for years. And very rarely do I miss a day. You'll see me all bundled up in the winter, you know, pouring rain. I'm out here sometimes. Been caught in the rain many, many, many times. So, yeah, okay. So you can see, can you see the golf there? They're building some new houses over there. Our area is a small town that's really, really building up fast because you can hear them pounding, see? And so our area is really, really building up fast. It's an old people's area, as I call it, but it's a kind of a PGA golfing area. But I loved going to Tybee Island this past weekend, our little beach house. That was wonderful. And I loved the fact that it rained the whole time. It was wonderful. It was like one of those YouTube videos that you watch where the snow's falling or it's raining outside. I mean, it was just like that, you know. We did go out to wonderful restaurants, and I went over and visited my 91-year-old lady friend. I have other friends on the island, but I just didn't, you know, in that short of time, I didn't have time to go visit. So over there, they're building the houses. Can you see that? And that's a brand new one here. The brand new one. I'm so glad we've got several acres, couple acres of land, and we live inside the city limits. So, you know, to have the kind of wooded area that we have, we're very fortunate. Most people have a little tiny piece of land, and a lot of people like that. They don't want big pieces of land, you know. But I love my winding driveway, grandma's driveway that y'all see in my videos, and I love that. And I love being able to have the privacy. Getting back to train wreck or rock and roll. I'm gonna rock and roll, okay? I'm just gonna rock and roll. I'm out here every day. I'm enjoying my life. I jokingly tell my husband, you know, I jokingly tell him, hey, I'm spending everything now. I'm not saving nothing for another wife. And I've crossed everything off my bucket list, so now I can chill out. I can chill out. Everything has been crossed off my bucket list, and so I just roll along and enjoy. I really do. I just enjoy every single wonderful, beautiful day like today. So yeah, I'm out here. I enjoy every wonderful, beautiful day, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And enjoy your life. Have fun. Get out there. You know, get out there. You know, I'm out there. I'm out there in life. I've always been out there in life. I was out there in the storms of life when other people were safe and secure in their homes, and I'm not recommending that. But like I told y'all in another video about my story, when I moved out of Palm Springs, it just happened to be, Palm Springs always has perfect weather, but on that day it was a big storm. And I had an Aldi car, new one, and I had it loaded down, and I was moving to Newport Beach, where I didn't know anyone at the time. And the wind was lifting my car. Oh my gosh. And my friends were saying, oh, how can you leave Palm Springs? But I knew that it was time. I knew it was time in life to make a change. Maybe not on that particular day. I wouldn't have done it again because of the wind and the rain. And it wasn't an easy transition, but I got there and moved to Newport Beach, and that was a whole nother beginning. You know, I mean, making changes is not always easy. Making changes is not always easy, okay? It's not. So, you know, sometimes it is, but often it's not. Okay? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But sometimes it's necessary to make changes, even sometimes for change's sake. Like I left that fabulous job in LA, and my other friends stayed. They stayed for years and years. And the things that they actually wanted to happen in their life didn't. They had very successful careers, but they didn't achieve the other results that they wanted. It required change. It required a change of environment. I had to make this change of environment in my life at that time to create the other things I want, because some environments don't give us what we want. Sometimes we can reach into another environment and yet stay where we're at to get what we want. But sometimes we have to actually make a change, and that's what I had to do, because I could not make that kind of change. I couldn't get what I wanted by staying put. Had I been able, for a while there I did. I mean, I remember driving and working in LA. While living in Palm Springs, it was like a 3-hour drive, and I would drive back and forth. Most nights I would stay in LA if I had to work the next day, and then go home on the days that I didn't have to. And but you know, sometimes you just have to make a change, and sometimes you can't get what you want in a certain environment, or you've outgrown that environment. The environment served its purpose. It was wonderful for you, wonderful to you, and yet now it was time to move on. And so that's kind of what happened. And so I'm used to making changes. I mean, heck, I'm 64 years old. I'm a full-time college student. How cool is that? With 19 hours. 12 is normal. Hard classes. I'm loving it. I mean, how many 64-year-olds do you know that go to college full-time? Personally, I don't know any. I know they're out there, but I don't personally know any. I do work out every day. and I do my very best at eating healthy. Just because you do everything right doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to turn out right. But you stack the odds in your favor, okay? And that's all I'm trying to do, is stack the odds in my favor so that life treats me good. So that life treats me good. So that you know, I can live the very best life I can. Someone said in a comment the other day, and I don't know exactly what words they used, I'd have to look back at the comment, but basically it was, you set your life up to create all this happiness that you created along the way. That's essentially what it came down to. And they said you were very specific, or they used a word, a great word. I have to go look back on it, but you know, I don't know if I know that I wanted a great life. I know that I came from a very humble background, and I knew that I wanted things differently than a lot of people that I knew were settling for. Okay, I wanted things differently. I didn't want to settle for I didn't want to settle for an unhealthy lifestyle. I didn't want to settle for, you know, chaos and confusion, bad relationships. I didn't want any of that. I wanted everything great. I wanted great jobs. I didn't want to have to go to work at jobs I hated, like just about everybody I knew. And I wanted jobs I loved. So I was very thoughtful. Early on, I moved to California, but that was kind of chaotic because I didn't know I was moving to California. My mom and I got in the car one day. I told that story, moving to California. Go look up all my stories from my life. Like moving to California is one of them. I did about 100? I don't know. Stories. I did a lot of stories from my life. And so if you haven't watched them, go watch them, please. All kinds of stories. And true stories. And so I knew I wanted more. And so I was very thoughtful in my approach, and I still am to this day, and I will continue to be. I'm thoughtful about everything I do. Am I a little pushy? Yeah, absolutely. You have to be pushy, but in a polite, respectful, ethical way. In order to sometimes get what you want. Be persistent, but it's got to be right, done right. Now this is my little turnaround point down here, okay, everybody? I'm going to my turnaround point. And this is where, see, I didn't run today. It was kind of a fast-paced walk, but that's okay. Most days, you know, I run, but the camera I can't do. Now here you have to be very careful because there's a lot of roots out here. And so this is my little, Dairy Queen is just right down there. So I don't go actually all the way to Dairy Queen. I just kind of, there's a little marker here where the sidewalk starts. And that's where I turn around. Okay, and then I start backwards. And that makes me my 5 miles, what I call my 5 miles, give or take. Okay, so now you all know. And sometimes while I'm running, I talk on the phone, sometimes not. You know, I love being out here. This is, you know, Grandma always said, well, we didn't have therapists back in my days. We didn't have anything like that. Well, they did. They had something called electric shock therapy. I remember, oh my gosh, how frightening was that back in the 50s and 60s. But that was about all they did. If you went to the psychiatrist back then, most the ones we knew seemed to give that electric shock therapy, so nobody went. And so you kind of solved your problems on Grandma's porch swing. And that's what you did. So, you know, this is my therapy, coming out here to run, doing my YouTube videos, my therapy for me. I don't give advice or suggestions or anything like that. I just share with you my perspective. It's fun for me. It's fun for me. I do things that are fun as much as I can. And I try to make things that are not fun. I try to do my best at making them fun if I can. Not all things can you make fun, okay? So I'm going to say that straight out. There are things that happen in life that are difficult and challenging and you can't dance through, and you feel like a train wreck, or you feel like the train is off the track, and sometimes you got to sit there for a little bit. but hopefully you get back on the track and back on the road of life again, okay? Yeah, I love enjoying my life. So I love getting out here. And so this is part of my daily routine. My dancing is part of my daily routine. Of course, spending sometimes up to 14 hours behind the computer doing college work, including my webcam class. So, you know, I get, you know, those are actually real-time participation. And I'm an artist, you know, and I kind of put a painting, I've been painting lately, but I kind of put it on hold a bit, but I'm getting back to it now because I love painting, even if, you know, I've got more paintings than you know, most people ever even dream of, and they're all mine, the ones I've done, of course. And you know, I love painting, and so I'm back to it. I paint on cardboard. You know, of course I have a lot of canvases, but right now I don't feel like painting on canvas. Right now I feel like painting on cardboard and on coffee cans and on tin cans, and I don't know why. It's just kind of something new that I'm doing, just for fun. Dancing through life. You know, like I said, you can rock and roll, you can dance through life, you can be a train wreck. And, you know, I've been all of them in my life, hopefully to a bare minimum as a train wreck. I don't think I lasted as a train wreck very long because I always tried to pull myself out of it. But I remember 10 years ago when I went through that health issue, when I ran into the wooden hanger and all that. Go back and look at that video, if you will. And I was a train wreck, but no one knew it because I kept a smile on my face and laughed, cried in between the laughter, of course, but not in front of people usually. Never let my kids really know what was going on. They didn't know because they were little and I didn't want to tell them that mommy was sick at that time. Now remember, that's not like what I'm going through now, okay? That was a bit different, but then maybe it is like, because that was the weirdest thing. You know, it was like, I told my husband, it's like, I had so many symptoms at that time, and then they found out what it was. But it was like, where are, you know, all these things coming from? So there's usually a reason. So anyhow, I want to be healthy. I am healthy. I'm going to stay healthy. I'm going to do everything. And you know, like Grandma said, she said a lot of people lived with sickness, lived with all kinds of things. And they just continued to live through life and rock and roll and dance through life the best they could. Hobbling or whatever. Sometimes you gotta hobble, you know. Sometimes you gotta waddle. Like today I'm more waddling than I am running because I'm doing the camera. And that's good, that's good. And you know, there's always gonna be not nice people, like I said. And you know what Grandma said? Ignore them. Walk away and ignore them. And that's what I always try to do. I try not to give not nice people my time, because why give them your time? You know, you're not going to change them. Truly not nice people. They have to change on their own. And many of them don't. Think about this wisdom on the run. Do you like it? You know, do you like this wisdom on the run in the morning? I'm not going to do it every morning, okay? Because sometimes I want to run and I can't hold the camera. And can't really hold the camera and run at the same time because I'd run into a tree like this or trip on a root. Roots are not here on this part. They must have dug them up, but up there, oh my gosh, there's big roots. One day I went flying through the air a couple years ago. So I tend to look down when I am running for a lot of reasons. I look ahead, but I look down to make sure that there's no roots. Okay, so I make sure of that because, you know, the roots can really trip you, and you want to be careful. You open yourself up in a public way, in a public forum, like I share a lot. I don't share everything. I'm not an open book, nor do I think I should be, nor do I think everybody should be. There's things that we need to keep personal, especially when they involve other people. And yet, I share a lot. And the reason I'm sharing this journey about what I'm presently going through, and I have no idea what it is, how it's going to turn out. I don't, but I'm sharing it in hopes that it enlightens, inspires, encourages, and helps others to make their own right decisions. You know, you want to make right decisions in life. You want to make right decisions in your life. And that's what I'm doing. Making right decisions, trying to make the very best decisions. You know, we can't control every circumstance. People think, oh, I can control everything. You make right decisions, you can stack the odds in your favor. But there are things that happen that we didn't see coming, or there are things that we could see coming but we couldn't stop. So that's where you react in the very best way you know how to react positively to whatever has occurred or is occurring or will occur. Some things you can prevent, some things you cannot. Often with other people you can't prevent things. So, can you see that golf course? Let me see if you can see that golf course. Can you see that? It's a beautiful golf course over there. Can you see that? Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. It's all private here. Everything is so private. You have to go through the gates and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah. So, you know, I try to be as transparent if it has a purpose behind it. Mostly I talk wisdom topics from my perspective, how I see life, how I live life, how I view life, how I see different issues. I don't give advice, suggestions, information, because everyone's situation is different. Everyone has a different personality, different circumstances, different ways of handling things. So I'm not into advice giving. I'm into inspiring and showing people what's going on in my life. So if this situation, well, however it turns out, I'll take you all along with me, either way. And I want to make people aware, from, you know, from having mammograms to silicone implants to making sure you're paying attention to your body, which I always have. I paid attention as soon as it happened, except for the abrasion that my husband saw, which we thought was just a rubbing. You know, as soon as I saw something more, immediately I called the doctors. Immediately. I didn't mess around. Now, will I make my own decisions based upon the information, whatever it happens to be? Let's pray it's all good. I don't have to make any decisions, but I make my own decisions, you know. And I stay informed. You know, I'm very, like I said yesterday, not recommending anything, okay? I'm just telling you what Grandma used to say. She used to say, God's chemotherapy is eating healthy and juicing. And she didn't mean don't get chemotherapy. She didn't mean not go see a doctor or anything like that, although they didn't like seeing doctors. They rarely went to a doctor, and they lived to about 100. But I believe in eating healthy. And I believe it starts with your lifestyle, living a healthy life. And that's what I do. That's what I do. So I'm going home in a little bit. And I'm going to actually upload this video, and then I have one of my classes tonight. It's a really hard class, and the teacher calls on all of us, and I think we've lost a few students in there, so that he calls on us more often than it used to be because there's less students and the questions are really hard. So I try to work some of the problems out and the questions out before I get on the webcam. And I got half of it. It's really funny. The other night I got half a question right, and I was like aced it. And the second half I was like, oh, I don't know. And I just laughed about it. You know, that's kind of my way of handling some uncomfortable situations. Not all, but some. Most, probably. And so I'm going to go back, do schoolwork too, dance a little bit for exercise, and want to start painting here again. I haven't been doing live streams lately because I just been so busy. It's not because I haven't felt like it, it's just I'm so busy. You know, my life is wonderfully busy. Love the things I do. You know, I don't always like the things I'm going through, like with what I'm going through right now, but I love my routines. I remember watching Farrah Fawcett's video. It was, you know, at the end when she was going through everything she was going through. Fantastic. It's hard to find the whole documentary. I think you have to go on one of those other foreign channels or something to get it. And I have the link and haven't watched it in a long time, but it showed her journey with what she was going through. And she is so brave, so wonderful to talk about the journey. She showed you her story, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't pretty, but here she was, this most gorgeous woman showing you. And I remember a statement she said, I just want my life back. I just want my life back. Meaning her everyday life. She loved to bake pies, I think. And she just wanted her everyday life back, playing tennis. And boy, do I ever relate to that. You know, but right now I'm blessed. I still have my everyday life, and I hope I keep it forever. Because you set your life up with routines you love instead of ones you don't love. Set your life up with what you love. Set your life up with what you love. Okay, there's usually a wonderful, beautiful dog here that comes out to greet me every day. And I don't know where he's at today. And there's 2 little dogs that follow him. And they're just beautiful. Most of the dogs here are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous and kind and wonderful. And then I have to pass by that one dog. Stopped and talked to one of my friends. We were talking and I was saying, you know, at 64 years old, I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my life. And we were talking about that because she's in my age group. And, you know, you meet people out here on the trail. You do. And it's wonderful. And I've made friends. I've made friends out here. One man stopped me and he said, I have people that honk their horns. They all know me. It's like I don't even know who they are, but they seem to know me, you know, or they know of me, and they see me out here. And nice people. And but you do meet nice people. So one man, he said, "You've been out here for decades," like I was telling you earlier. And I said, "No, maybe not decades, but a long time." Every day, every day. But see, you do have to be careful of the trees and the roots, and so that's the big thing when you're running. And dogs. Now most dogs are wonderful, but there's that one dog I'm not certain about, and I told you all that story that one day when the dog, the little girl was walking the dog and she couldn't control it, and it was, see the roots, can you see them? And so you gotta be mindful when you're out here. And one time, a long time ago, my daughter and I were out here, and this car was texting. He came off the road. It was in another part and he was veering towards us in this big old car. Oh my gosh, I shoved my daughter so that she wouldn't get hit, and thinking, but he somehow veered back on the road. So you got to be mindful when you are out here. You really do. You really do. And just a beautiful day. This neighborhood, this golfing community decorates, they all decorate beautiful for Halloween and Christmas. Now, I decorate big time. Y'all know that, because if you've seen my videos from last year. And yet, I don't know if I'm going to decorate quite to the extent that I normally do, because my kids are grown up. We used to have the blow-ups in the yard, you know, the snowmen and the Santa Clauses and the dancing bears, or dancing Santa Clauses and snowmen, and all that, and candy canes that lined the driveway. You know, I may do a little less this year. Now, I always decorate beautiful in the house, have beautiful decorations. But, you know, when you're young, like in your 30s, and you're raising small children, it is so cool and so neat. And to do that, and you should be doing that, in my opinion. Celebrating that period, celebrate each season of your life. And I'm in a different season now. My kids are grown, although they're like big kids. They live at home. 2 of them live at home. Well, actually, one of them is going to move out. Now, my daughter lives down the street, about 4 miles away, exactly 4 miles. And then my one son wants his own apartment, and we think he's going to get it. My other son goes back. He goes to college, but he lives at home. And so it's all good. It's all good. There's a crosswalk, but see, I don't cross back over. I kind of run alongside the country club here when I go back home.
Thank you for calling the Pinehurst Medical Clinic Primary Care North location, 8 Regional Circle. If you are calling for a prescription refill, please wait for the next available patient service representative.
Okay, so I am on hold with a phone call. So I'm making a phone call. You got to get on hold all the time. Oh, I just called them back later. You know, right now, even getting through to doctors or pharmacists is taking a tremendous amount of time. You're put on hold like never, ever before. So I'll call them back later. I want to enjoy this beautiful day. And so, yeah, I'm on my way home now, almost home. And gonna start my day. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. Like I said, enjoy your life. This is your life. And if you can, make it fun. Make your life fun. And that car was really close to the edge. You know, I think a lot of people are texting and driving, honestly. And I think that's just terrible. But anyhow, I've done videos on that. And you know, talking about it. I've done videos talking about it, and you know, people should not text and drive ever, in my opinion. We have a lot of scooters in our little town, and actually we've had like 5 scooters. They're like a little mini motorcycle. So yeah, it's just beautiful, gorgeous day. So I'm getting ready to cut over into where I live, and beautiful, beautiful. Thank you all for listening. I hope you like Wisdom on the Run. I'm just sharing a little bit of everything, bits and pieces of whatever I happen to think about. Normally I record these thoughts and then go home and make a video. And I think this is a little bit more interesting to be able to see a beautiful day along with my wisdom. Although you see my beautiful kitchen, it's also nice to see just different things too, I think. Okay, love you all much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. So, beautiful, beautiful. It has been a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Okay, here we go again. Yep, here we go. I stay way over on my side. Now there's another one. But the other ones are fine. Okay. Now I'm home. Home. Oh, it feels wonderful to be home. 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 Yep. Wonderful and a beautiful day. Love you all much. Talk to you soon. May God bless you. So now I am home. Home. Sweet home. Beautiful home.